Figures.
Oh, baby!
Good afternoon, and welcome to Sunrise, Florida, for the championship round of the Comfort Inns and Suites Classic and the Winning Never Gets Old Challenge. Here are today's finalists. In our first match, the survivor of this morning's senior elimination matches from Houma, Louisiana, Avery LeBlanc. His opponent is the reigning PBA Senior Player of the Year from Las Vegas, John Handegard. Our semifinal match features a two-time PBA champion from Albuquerque, Mike Miller. His opponent is a PBA Hall of Famer from Atlanta, Brian Voss. And our tournament leaders, the three-time titleist looking for his first win in his home state of Florida, Steve Hoskins. Capacity crowd here at Down Carter Lanes, and we're delighted to be back with you, Chris Schenkel and Nelson Burton Jr. Let me describe and also show you how we got to our field this afternoon. We had a 5 senior roll-off this morning, actually 4, because the point leader, John Handegard, drew a bye, so he just could sit and watch. The roll-offs were terrific, and it was led the first and the next 2 and the third games by Avery LeBlanc of Houma, Louisiana. He was just incredible. Starting out in the first match, he went against Pete Couture, a native of Connecticut, now bowling out of Florida. Then it was on to Gary Dickinson after defeating Couture 223 to 200. And consistent Gary just couldn't do better than 222 to 246. And there you see the Evans scored. And now looking at the seniors, we were trying to determine here who would meet the semifinalist, the number 2 seed, Brian Voss. And David Houston here defeating Amleto Monicelli with a powerful 268 to 238. Look at the determination of this native of Wisconsin. He was in against Mike Miller, and look at that. 279, can you believe it? And a 2-frame roll-off, it was just as exciting as Mike Miller of Albuquerque was perfect. He had 15 of 16 strikes today, whereas Houston had 14 of 16. And of course, you can't do much better than that. So it'll be Mike Miller who will be going against Brian Ross, having defeated Houston in that 2-frame roll-off. And Bo, the purse is big.
Chris, is an interesting format, $50,000 at first for the tournament winner. We also have the Winning Never Gets Old Challenge. That first match will be featuring the 2 seniors right here. Very physically strong players, terrific talents, over the age of 50 years old, John Handegard and Avery LeBlanc. We're ready to go for a really interesting day.
As Avery on the left says, he is a raging Cajun. 52 years old, and Handegard, who bowls out of Las Vegas, the Senior Player of the Year in 1991, is 57, Bo. And in his 40th television appearance, does he enjoy this game?
Well, Chris, he's in great shape. You know, he tried to tour when he was in his 20s and 30s with some success. However, at 57, he has just dominated the seniors tour. As we get our first look at the Raging Cajun, Avery LeBlanc. What a wonderful, nice guy. Here's his first shot.
Leaving the 3, 6, 10. Very animated guy.
Yes, he is, Chris, and he's just a little tentative on his first shot. You see he has just a wonderful style. Very quickly, he's up there on the approach. You see him come up there, solid 5-step delivery, just drive straight on through. Good follow through, but not enough ball speed.
Good. Last year he won 46,815. His best 2 seconds. He has 2 regional titles.
You know, Avery tried the tour off and on, Chris, and he had a business at home. He had an automotive business, and he was even a swamp tour guide and does alligator wrestling as a hobby. He said he got out of all that, started concentrating on his bowling, and he's really showing now. He's doing quite well.
All right, we have 310 coming up here on the left lane for Avery LeBlanc.
The tendency of an older player and a little bit inexperienced is to soften up and aim. As you see LeBlanc's ball going high, the 310 baby split. Under the gun, you got to go with a little extra ball speed and make that ball set up. Let's see if you can convert the split.
Remember, today we have a Touring Pro Classic winner, and then the winner of this match will meet him in a Winning Never Gets Old match, head-to-head for $25,000.
That'll be the final game of the day. Here we go. Handegard, second frame.
Handegard, left lane. He leads by 22.
Oh, Chris, just an excellent shot. He gets a terrific break in the first frame. He crossed over and got a strike, then made it count as he struck in the second and third, and has caught Avery LeBlanc a little bit off guard. Avery, a tough guy, though. He should bounce back here. Trails by 22, third frame. Get that first strike under your belt. He'll be okay.
2-4-5.
Well, this is kind of how he started in the morning matches. As you see him go a little bit wide, he was tentative, and then he sends the ball wide. After he got a few spares and strikes under his belt this morning, he got cooking. So leaves the 2-4-5 spare. If he converts here, he'll trail by 25 after 3.
Here's how the money is distributed to the senior players. The 3 that lost out this morning get $2,500. The loser of this game will get $5,000 and the winner $7,500. But more important, he goes into the Winning Never Gets Old challenge match. Nice break. First strike for LeBlanc, trailing by 25. We're at Don Carter Lanes in Sunrise. You know, tourists and locals in nearby Fort Lauderdale seek relief from the 80-degree temperatures. This standing room crowd at Don Carter All-Star Lanes in Sunrise, just off Sawgrass. Now looking at John Handegard, fourth frame, leads by 25, can up it to 35. Three-bagger working fourth frame. Got a lot of action on that ball, Nelson.
You're right, Chris, and he's very confident. You know, John, if you ask him, he says he's living his dream. He always wanted to make it on the pro tour, and a very physically strong guy. Look at his forearms, look at his wrists. He used to work in a sawmill up in Oregon and just built tremendous strength, and that's so good in the sport of bowling, to have that good hand strength, the good wrist action. Right now, he's opened up a 35-pin lead as he starts the game with 4 consecutive strikes.
Nelson, where did you get those blacksmith-like forearms of yours?
Well, thank you. I think mine are mostly genetic. My late father was a bricklayer, and it helped him very much in his game, too. So, Avery LeBlanc, he's got to get it going now. He's got to strike up and cut into the lead of John Handegard with a couple strikes here. He trails by 45, fifth frame.
Oh, sliding by, leaving the 1-2-10, and
trouble. Has to make this. Has to get the ball between the 1-2, slide the head pin over into the 10-pin zone. He can either drive it directly into the 10 or off the sideboard. Needs to make this spare.
oh, beautiful. The second conversion by Avery LeBlanc. Next Saturday, ABC's Professional Bowlers Tour rolls into Pennsylvania. Bowling's big guns meet at the Erie Civic Center in the Flagship Open. Join us in the arena next Saturday at 3, 2 Central and Pacific right here on ABC. Arena Finals. Love them. Only his second strike in 6 frames. Whereas John Handegard now, 5 in a row. He is halfway there for a lot of bucks.
Well, Chris, if he goes all the way with a perfect game, Choice Hotels, the Comfort Inn Classic here, will award him a $150,000 with an additional $50,000 going to charity. So this is a $200,000 pop if he can take it off the sheet. He's got the first 6.
50 of that going to the Family Resource Center and the Marilyn Dursing Memorial Scholarship Fund.
See what happens.
What can one say?
Well, he blows the 5 over in the 7. He has to concentrate on winning the game now. He has what seemingly is an insurmountable lead, but not necessarily so. Avery LeBlanc could still strike it out for 245. Handegard going at a 249 pace. He has to be careful.
54 pins, the lead by John Handegard. You know, the ascent of the sailfish is depicted here locally at Northport Plaza. Look at it. Yes, here at Don Carter Lanes, there are some Brian Voss fans. He'll be in the next game against Mike Miller, the semifinal, to determine the classic winner worth $50,000. Right now in this game, we're trying to determine the senior that will go into the Winning Never Gets Old challenge match against the classic champion for 25 grand. Okay, Nelson.
Thank you, Chris. With me are 2 former PBA national champions who will be in the next match, Mike Miller and Brian Voss. Mike, you had an exciting match. You tied with 279 David Houston. You think the lanes are still the same as they were this morning, and what do you expect against the big guy Beef?
No, I don't think the lanes are the same because they redid them, so I expect them to be different, but hopefully I'll make the right adjustments and have just enough to beat Brian.
Brian, you're going against the former national champions. He was hot this morning. Plus, you got the seniors out there to worry about. You got to think about Mike first and worry about the seniors later.
Well, I hope Mike just totally screws up, actually. I know this is a wonderful event. I'm going to be a senior in about 12 years, and, I hope these kind of events still keep going on.
Hey, great attitude. 2 great players, Chris. They'll be coming up in the next match. Back to you, pal.
All right. Thanks, Bo. Avery LeBlanc. Covered the 4-pin with ease. Rests now as Handegard, leading by 45, gets up in the 8th frame. Spare working for him. Crossing over, and we have a 6-10.
And Handegard seems a little bit confused in the 8th frame here as he has the match well in hand. He may have tried an experimental shot there, Chris. With the match in hand, all he has to worry about is the final match of the day, the Winning Never Gets Old challenge. He's got a pop at winning an extra $25,000. Why not try a move?
Way to the left of center. Come up. Remember, roll-offs for the seniors earlier today and for the touring professionals.
To be a senior PBA member over the age of 50, the seniors can play both tours. John Handegard, the youngest man ever to win on a national tour last year when he won at the age of 57, bowls part-time on the regular tour, and is the king of the seniors tour. There he is, John Handegard. Boy, is he dedicated.
Speaking of dedication, so is our tournament director, Johnny Campos.
Wow.
He loves watching both the seniors and the touring professionals, and he's getting it from both sides today. All right. That was a beautiful strike. You know, tonight, beginning at 8, 7 Central Time, James Earl Jones and Dennis Leary star in the network premiere of a wonderful baseball movie called The Sandlot. Then from ABC News, a breathtaking Turning Point special, Deadly Game. A married couple from America finds themselves in the middle of a life or death struggle to stop the slaughter of the African elephant. It's all tonight here on ABC.
LeBlanc, possible 224.
A little Cajun music now for Avery LeBlanc.
You know, I asked him about alligator wrestling, Chris, and he says, you know, they don't bite you when their mouth is underwater, so you always got to watch their tail. And I think Handegard just slapped the raging Cajun with his tail here and caught him in the early few frames. A great experience for Avery. He'll be a much better player, and he's for sure to win at a consistent basis on the senior tour.
Can we start over?
He's telling John Handegard he wants to start this game over. This is the only time the seniors and the touring players play in a singles event together. They have a lot of fun.
Look at that. He strung 4 to finish with a 224. Now strike up in the ninth for John Handegard. Very high hit.
Well, the lanes changed very quickly all week long. As we watch the action on Thursday and Friday, they kind of, what is for the people at home, they break down. We have hot lights, warm weather here, so the oil is changing very quickly. Handegard will have some time to make an adjustment before that winning Never Gets Old challenge match, which will be 2 games away. He'll have to make a move left. He has time to change a ball, so he has the experience, and he'll be very competitive against the champion.
Yes. But Nelson, they're tied at 2-2.
But as we go, the winning never gets old challenge. It's 2 wins for the seniors, 2 wins for the young guys. We'll see what happens today. Obviously, the scales will tilt one way or another. Look out for Handegard. He's a tough old guy, and he'll either bowl Miller, Voss, or our tournament leader, Hoskins.
All right. 245 to 224. $7,500, but he'll get more later as this ABC Sports presentation of the Professional Bowlers Tour will return after these messages and a word from ABC station. You're looking at Mike Miller and Brian Voss practicing for our first touring pro match. John Handegard will be in the Winning Never Gets Old challenge match against the touring pro Victor. 245 to 224. Nelson with 7 strikes.
Well, it was an interesting first match, Chris, but now we start the semifinals of the regular tournament. We have 3 players less. It'll be Voss and Miller. Very interesting, and Hoskins, all power players. You'll see a tremendous difference between them and the older fellows in the first match, but it'll be interesting. We have 2 matches left to determine the champion of this tournament, then on to the Winning Never Gets Old challenge. So we've got some heavy hitters out there, a lot of power, and you'll notice that the younger players throw it a lot harder, too.
Oh, don't they, though? Much more muscle. Always good to be at Don Carter Lanes and see the champ himself. Don Carter, our 35 years of bowling. We had him on television way back. Okay, there they are. Mike Miller, the fellow that sometimes uses his thumb and sometimes doesn't.
And when he uses his thumb in the ball, he throws it much straighter. When his thumb is out, which that's the way he qualified when he shot those big games. He's going with it out. That means he's got swing area. He rolls that ball back on his wrist, and you just can't get any more on the ball than this man.
Oh, 4.79.
Kind of like the television business, Chris. High risk, high reward. He puts a whole lot on the ball. The ball breaks too much, as we see in this replay, and just doesn't respect that. Those 3-pound, 6-ounce pins, cuts through the 4.79, the 2-pin flying right over the 4. He'll put his thumb in, try to slide the 4 into the 9.
Mike, who tied with David Houston at 279 in the roll-off and then won 60-59 in the two-frame affair. Here he is now against Brian Voss, Hall of Famer, 1994 Play of the Year in '88. He's something. Well, 2 in sleeper 8, Bo.
Well, a little tentative for Voss. Remember, he did not bowl in the championship round earlier, as did Mike Miller. So Voss, from that inside line, expecting the big hook, doesn't want to go high, leaves the 2-8. And this, I feel, Chris, especially coming out cold, is one of the really tough spares. When you have that back double wood and you have to cross the center of the lane. Let's see how Voss handles it.
Brian Voss, who this year won the Oregon Open. 16 titles. Army champion, international champion.
Voss can do it all, Chris. I mean, there are no weaknesses in this man's game. He made himself a great player in 1985 when he had changed a big loop in his arm swing, learned speed control and everything, in top physical shape. He's one of the very, very best.
Help! Safe. Yuck.
Wearing that wireless mic, this man who in match play won 18 and lost 6. Repetition.
42-game format this week. You see those first 3 rounds were qualifying of 18 games. 4, 5, and 6 were match play. 24 more games, 42 games. Voss qualified second.
Now bowling out of Atlanta, Georgia. Think he'll be asked for any Olympic Games tickets?
I think he could just rent out his house. He lives in a nice country club up there, but here's a man he has to look at that determination. We saw that earlier today, Chris. This man gets it all when he gets going. Well, he puts all he can get on the ball when he takes his thumb out, and look at this profile as you just want to see the maximum power. Here's a man who's worked a lifetime in his game and developed this style. Look, it takes a lot of strength, a lot of weightlifting. It gives him an excellent arm swing, and look at that straight through, and he just gets a real bad break as he leaves the solid 8.
Jody Ann, what a smile. They're parents of daughter Adrienne and Chris.
Really advantage Miller, even though he trails in this match, Chris. Both national champions. He seems to be zeroed in. He is, that open frame was just a bad break. Voss is still floundering through 2 frames.
Now a 10-pin. Mike's sister, Dana Miller-Mackey, is a multi-titleist on the ladies' professional bowlers tour, and well, I'm sure you remember his dad, Gub Miller.
Gub, an excellent player on the seniors tour, and just a wonderful father. Has to be proud of his children. Mike, once again, thumb back in the ball, flattens a shot, make that spare, and he'll only trail by 11.
But you know who started them all? Mom Dolores. Those ladies do take charge.
They have a way. This 37-year-old, his main weapon now in professional bowling is his physical strength. Weightlifter, cross trainer, but he really can muscle that ball with the upper part of his body when he needs it. And this is the kind of lane you need it on right here.
Brian Voss, who won here in 1990, the day before he married Andrea. We're in Sunrise, Florida, where water is nearby. And if you've got a boat, you're sitting pretty. I'm proud to say this is our 7-year-old grandson named Michael. He's here with his mommy, Tina, our daughter. Loves bowling. In fact, he bowls at another Don Carter establishment in Boca. Mike Miller needed that, and right now we need Bo Burton.
Thank you, Chris Schenkel. The winner of the first match, John, the old-timer, you got by the first match, but how about these young guys? Can you handle them?
Well, I don't know. I've noticed they do throw a little more ball than I do, but I suppose I can move my feet in and get within a half a step of them.
Well, don't get a nosebleed. You got 2 matches to come up. And with me is the tournament leader, Steve Hoskins, hometown favorite. Steve, you just ran away with the field. You feel the lanes are about the same as you've seen all week?
No, they're considerably different. I'll probably play them a little bit straighter, a little farther right. That's the way it goes. They were really kind of different every day. That's part of the game. That's what separates everybody.
All right, we have 3 players left, Chris, in the regular division, all power players, and then we get to see a diametrical difference in style with John Handegard. So back to you.
All right, and Mike Miller's double has pulled him within 11 pins of Brian Voss. But don't forget, Brian Voss has a double up here, shooting in the 5th frame of this semifinal match. Concentration. Oh, 4-7.
What's happening to these players is the lanes are changing so quickly with the heat we have in the bowling center here. It's warm outside, close to 80 degrees, that they can't quite make the adjustment quickly enough, and they're drifting high on a lot of shots.
Well, we have 2 more games after this. Still a chance to get that big money and a perfect game. I'm always rooting for those because they're so exciting. And in this case, charity is aided, and so is the person that bowls it. Big salute, though.
Well, great break. Watch the head pin. And this is one reason you throw the big hook ball, so you can sling those 3-pound, 6-ounce pins around, get a good angle attack. Voss gets a good break. He has 107 in the 5th. He has a 9-pin lead. However, Mike Miller can take the lead with a strike here, 6th frame.
Mike was down by 21 pins.
Well, he's playing an interesting angle, Chris, isn't he? He's just way to the left. He's starting the ball way over to the left side of the lane and just using up the whole lane. And you'll see that with Hoskins also, kind of the rainbow shot. Maximum ball as Voss contemplates what he should do. Miller now has the lead coming up in the 7th.
Look at the intensity in these eyes. Look at that.
Well, once again, he has the 4-7. He needs to get the 4-pin over and slide it into the 9. He had the 4-7-9 in the first frame and didn't make a good enough adjustment. Maybe he can go to school off that first frame and stay right in the match.
All right, that's an open frame in the 7th. Last week, we were able to catch the many faces of David Ozio. Live shot in Sunrise, Florida at Don Carter's All-Star Lanes of Brian Voss, one of our great champions.
Leads by 15, strike up in the 6th, can extend his lead to 25 over Mike Miller. All these players are playing the deep inside line, playing that little oil line. We'll take a look at Voss's really technique of how he's attacking the lanes. He's going to be standing over here on the left, sliding in the left, and wait till you get Hoskins up here. And they'll be playing somewhere between the 3rd and 4th arrow. So they start the ball in here, then they want it to a little aloft and release, keep it wide. And the reason they do that is there's plenty of oil in the center and it's dry out and outside. Voss leads by 25, could make it 35.
Turning up the heat. 3 in a row. 35-pin lead.
Mike Miller with that thumbless style. That's a style that's emulated by a lot of young players in South America, Chris. The kids down there seem to like it. And this guy can throw some strikes, so don't count him out.
Shot, Mike. Some good shots, babe. You embrace.
This one here is mandatory for Mike Miller. He has a possible 222. Voss going at a 227 pace. You don't expect Voss to falter. Must situation for Miller. 9th frame.
Meditation and concentration.
Great shots. Good shot, thank you.
And determination, Chris, to polish it off. That was a freight train entering the pocket, kept him in the match. Voss, whose greatest asset in tough lane conditions is his patience, needs a strike to put him away.
So smooth. Finishing strong.
Brian just needs 9 on the first ball to secure a chance to bowl our tournament leader, Steve Hoskins, for the Comfort Inn Classic Championship. 9 on the first ball. This man knows his score. He looks like, remember Jack Elam, the old country and western cowboy with the iron? That's Mike Miller's determination. Looks great.
Come on, get them all! Yeah, baby!
Andrea, his wife, and Joshua and Cameron came out of their chairs on that one.
Sitting at home in Atlanta, they know their daddy and husband are bowling for $50,000 next game.
One, two, sleeper 8.
This spare in the second ball in the 10th will give Brian Voss a 244. Mike Miller, who had just bowled a terrific match, never missed the pocket. I don't blame you, Mike. Shake your head. With that truck you throw, you should have 8 or 9 in a row. But it's going to be Voss against Hoskins.
So a 244. Don't forget, our tips were recorded right in this house. And today on the Winning Never Gets Old Tip of the Week, Bo Burton gets some advice from the great one, Don Carter.
And now ABC Sports Professional Bowlers Tour presents another Winning Never Gets Old bowling tip, brought to you by Comfort Inns and Suites.
This is Don Carter, the man who dominated the sport of bowling in the 50s and the 60s and earned him the title of Mr. Bowling. And with me today is Don Carter. Don, great to have you with us.
Thank you, Bo.
Don, you know, you and I both grew up in St. Louis, and I always admired your bowling, especially with your control and the amount of power you got with that short backswing. Now, I need a tip from you. As I've gotten a little bit older, I don't quite have the control. I don't have quite the strength in my wrist I used to have. What can I do to get some of that back?
Well, first of all, I see you're wearing a wrist support, and that does help.
Okay.
But I think what would help you even more is putting the pinky under, tucking the pinky under, that balances the ball evenly in your hand, and it takes a lot of strain off of your thumb and off of your wrist, and I think it might help you.
Okay, put my fingers in, put my thumb in, tuck that pinky
Tuck
under
that
there.
under there, that's it.
All right, I'll give it a try.
Do it.
Well, what a great tip from the great Don Carter. If you're having a little trouble with control and power, tuck that pinky under there, and remember, winning never gets old.
This ABC Professional Bowlers Tour Winning Never Gets Old bowling tip has been brought to you by Comfort Inns and Suites.
At Don Carter Lanes, big scores. First game, John Handegard, 245 to Avery LeBlanc's 224, and then Brian Voss, 7 strikes, 244. Mike Miller's 221. Voss next against Hoskins, and there he is, the magical Don Carter. Look at him.
And Chris, we take a look at the top 24 with a large field of 190 plus going to the starting gate on Tuesday. A solid prize fund offered by the Comfort Inns Classic Tournament. In the 6th position, you're going to see George Branham III, former Tournament of Champions champion, coming out of his slump. Curtis Odom having his best year ever. Mike Edwards, one of your favorite guys, Chris, in 11th. Big Bob Spaulding, that weightlifting kicking in. Randy Peterson close to home. Ryan LeClaire, most improved player I've seen on a tour in a long time. Ron Palumbi will be home next week as Danny Wiseman defends his championship in Erie, Pennsylvania.
And our next 2 stops, we go to Erie, Pennsylvania again for the flagship open at the Erie Civic Center. Brian Voss last year said it was one of the most exciting days he ever saw.
It was, Chris. They averaged over 253 to set an all-time PBA record. So actually that can be broken today in this championship game here in the Comfort Inns Classics Championship. The 2 players need a combined 496 to break the all-time record. So it's Voss against the local favorite, Steve Hoskins.
And we do have 4 arena sites coming up. Johnny Petraglia, that'll be at Rutgers, where the game of football started against Princeton. So we'll start bowling on the Rutgers campus.
Championship game, $50,000 at stake. First shot, Voss. Voss with tons of experience. He was the All-Army champion in 1979, 1980, bowled throughout Europe, learned to bowl in Alaska in his dad's Air Force establishment, so he can handle anything, so never count him out.
A little tentative, perhaps, but sigh of relief, and it's a mark for Voss. Now, Steve Hoskins, Floridian Tarpon Springs, 5 feet 5. I'm impressed.
Well, when I first saw him really come to the forefront is when he won the Quaker State from the #1 position. He's never been defeated from there, as you look at his wife looking on and his daughter. His wife also has just told me she's 3 months pregnant with her 2nd child, so Steve has added incentive. Going back to his style, the rainbow shot. I like it. He uses all the lanes. Starts it in the left channel, out to the right. Maximum angle of attack to the pocket.
Excited, having had to wait quite a while as the tournament leader. And don't forget, the winner of this game, the classic champion, will meet John Handegard in a Winning Never Gets Old challenge match worth 25. This game is worth 50 to the winner.
Good shot. Solid 10, the first one we've seen all day long. We've seen some solid 8s, some 4-9s, but Brian Voss just wraps that 6 right around the 10. It's just a 32nd of an inch here or there, and the 6 takes out the 10. So he'll go after this and stay right in the match.
Release of tension, and he's ready. The proper routine, Nelson.
Well, he knows what he's doing. Voss is, there's hardly anything you can't learn or he can't learn in a sport, but he knows just about everything. He knows how to win, most importantly, as you see. His opponent, Steve Hoskins, our tournament leader, with that powerful position.
3 frames, 3 strikes.
Now, does he use up some of the lane as he takes a re-rack here? He stands to the extreme left and just starts that ball all the way on the left side, all the way out. Probably uses more boards than anybody I've ever seen to be as consistent as he is.
The 1989 PBA Rookie of the Year. His last win was 1994 in Tucson and also at Quaker State, Grand Prairie.
If there's a lane that's going to give him trouble, I think it's this one, Chris. It jumps a little bit at the back end.
Four-bagger. Steve Hoskins, tournament leader, going against Brian Voss for the classic title. Spring break time has come to the beaches of Fort Lauderdale. What sights!
An interested viewer, my son Nelson Burton III, better known as Tripper, watching one of his favorite bowlers, Brian Voss. Obviously spring break. Tripper, a sophomore at Lafayette High School in St. Louis. Right now, Hoskins trails Steve Hoskins. Voss trails Hoskins by 31.
No, you can be proud of Tripper.
And Voss can be proud of his whole family, too, as he is fought back. Voss can win from anywhere. He can win from the 4th position, the 5th position, the 1st position. He's a patient player, Chris.
Yes.
And the only way to beat Voss is not paying attention to him and go out and work on your own game. Right now, he can put a little squeeze on the younger opponent, Steve Hoskins, if he can get this 3rd strike in a row here in the 5th frame and cut the lead to 11.
No.
Oh, boy.
No, Mark Ruff did it.
My trick shot's coming up here.
You see Roth do it some decade and a half ago. Voss is going to try the same attempt. Ooh. You know, Chris, I do a lot of exhibitions with Brian Voss, and when he leaves a tough split like that, he uses 2 bowling balls in the exhibitions. However, it's illegal in tournament competition, as the door is wide open for the perfect Hoskins through 4.
Coming up on ABC Sports, it's golf's first major of the year. The stars of the LPGA tee off in the Nabisco Dinah Shore. Our coverage begins next, right here on ABC Sports. And Bo, it is a wonderful event. I had the pleasure of doing the first and several thereafter with Dinah herself. And It's just an event on TV that everyone should watch.
Some good players there. Watch Annika Sorenstam and Kelly Robbins. Now you see how Hoskins is attacking these lanes. Look at how deep he's going. He's actually going to drift this way and then back over the ball. Almost in the left channel.
Halfway. Lots of money, not 100, but 150. And another 50 to charity. Goodness.
It's not over for the Beef yet. He still has 245 in the woods. He'll keep trying. Let's see what happens. Oh boy. It's easy to be critical sometimes from up here. Brian just a little soft today, though. It's very hot in southern Florida. Voss needed a little more speed. He has it in his repertoire, but he's been soft today. Not bowling badly. However, Hoskins has just been dominant.
Hoskins in 4 games in this championship pair had a terrific average compared to the others at 233. Brian had a 219 in 2 games. But today's a different story. High.
Well, that strike in the 6th frame just kind of took any wind out of the sails of Voss, as you see him kind of going through the motions here. Obviously, he's still trying, but he's been hit with a knockout punch. Hoskins got him reeling, and now Hoskins just about has the tournament in hand for 50 grand, but he has the whack at the big bonus as he's bowling away Brian Voss.
Brian, who has won at least 1 tournament in 10 consecutive years. Number 7.
Steve, who's gone back to college in his off season trying to get his degree in accounting. A solid young father, great young player, looking at his 4th title here. Possible $200,000 bonus. Credits a lot of his improved bowling to rooming with Amleto Monicelli, probably the greatest trainer out here on the tour. Has 7 in a row.
Fans. Okay, Brian finally gets one in the 8th frame. Had only 2 earlier in this match. Spare in the 9th frame for Brian Voss, 152 through 8. So Brian's going to have to settle for $26,000. Lisa and little Lindsay applauding along with this capacity crowd.
Starts it on about the 35th board, sends it out to about the 5th. Still not enough room as he leads the 3, 4, 6, 7. He'll go for it. He has a tournament in hand.
Don't forget, one more match. Look at Lisa and Lindsay. And that'll be the classic winner, Steve Hoskins, going against the senior, John Handegard.
Handegard's going to be tough. Hoskins with the big strike ball, but we've seen a few of the tournament winners, Chris, have letdowns in that, thinking they could take the senior easily, but they've been even after 4 years of matches.
The classic finals here for Steve Hoskins. He had 3 titles in his 9 years as a Professional Bowlers Association member. Association founded by Eddie Elias, who I know is watching in Akron along with his wife Peggy, and we wish them both well and love. Okay. Body surfing is always popular at the beach, especially when at the end of the run there is today's championship trophy. And now the answer to the Brunswick quiz. Where did the highest scoring telecast in PBA history take place? It was Erie, Pennsylvania in 1995. Led by tournament champion Danny Wiseman, the 5 finalists combined to average 253 for their 8 games. And we're back in Erie next week. We're in Sunrise, Florida, where Steve Hoskins has just won the Classic Championship. Comfort Inns and Suites Classic, $50,000. Brian Voss, $26,250 to $202. And we move into the winning never gets old. First, it's the winning never gets old tip with Bo Burton. And now for $25,000, a senior versus a touring pro.
Well, Chris, there's always a lot of arguments. Can the older players hang with the seniors, the younger players? Of course, in one game. In fact, even though Hoskins bowled 250, Handegard bowled 245 in his first match, I'm going to pick Handegard in this match. I tell you what, he's a tough old guy, and he's really a good guy. He's giving a little muscle to Hoskins. Look at they're having fun.
Steve Hoskins. All right, there they are. There's that important handshake. Well, let's see. Handegard is 57 and 30 years younger at 27. Steve Hoskins. Remember, he has already won $7,500.
And his opponent already 50,000. And really, John struggled a little bit in our very first match when he bowled Avery and LeBlanc. Even though he shot 245, it was some good breaks in that match. So it behooves John to pick up the ball speed and really attack, because Hoskins is not going to lay in the weeds and just wait for it.
Oh.
Well, you're going to see the difference in styles. Why one man's 57 bowls on the seniors tour and one fellow is 27 and the king of the pro bowling right now. It's ball speed, revolutions, and power, and youth has to be somewhat served.
Remember, he had 9 strikes in his 250, 202 victory over Brian Voss. And there's still a chance for the big money.
Hoskins will always be a good player, Chris, because he has an ability to run away from the field. Remember Dave Davis. You know, Dave was my roommate and great in the 60s, 70s, and even in the 80s. They never looked back. If they shot 250, they thought about 260, then 270, and that's what this kid has. He has that ability.
Going to be a lesson in split conversions here, Bo.
Well, he actually had a whack at a split similar to this. Remember when he left the 3-4-6-7 in the previous match when he defeated Voss? It's a very similar shot. He needs to get the ball over next to the 3-6 and slide that 3-pin over into the 7. Cross lane, cut the hook down, give it a whack.
All out. So 2 open frames, and Hoskins trails by 1. Now shooting in the 2nd frame of our challenge match worth $25,000 to the winner.
Wow.
John has that ball kind of what we call hook out. It started to hook, the lanes are drying and then drying out, and it just quit, and it hit like a marshmallow against those 3-pound, 6-ounce pins. And obviously it's a pretty easy spare, John, so if you make this, you'll be in the lead by 1. Not so bad after 2 frames.
Tomorrow at 2 Eastern, 1 Central and Pacific, ABC Sports goes down under for sun, sand, and speed. Paul Tracy defends last year's win in Surfer's Paradise at the Australian IndyCar Grand Prix. That's tomorrow here on ABC Sports.
Bad ball.
Struggling with his release, struggling with the lane conditions. What John has to do, and very critical, he has to get the ball to the left of the 2-pin and let it drive that 2 over into the 10. The ball will automatically take out the 4 if he gets it in that position.
So 2 open frames for John Handegard, and Avery LeBlanc off there already raising his hand saying, why didn't that happen when I bowled him?
Well, it's a little different lane condition.
Yes.
The lanes have dried out quite a bit in the last hour.
Back in the 3rd for Steve Hoskins, classic champion.
To put these 2 fellows' careers in perspective, John Handegard says, I'm living my dream out here. And the quote that is very good from Steve Hoskins, he says, I know that I don't have to be as accurate as other players because my power will dominate. That's youth compared to a 57-year-old man. It's not over, but Hoskins can really put him on the ropes with a strike here.
4-pin. The winner takes all in this particular game.
The inextricable left lane, everybody struggling, goes high, breaks up the split again, leaves the 4-pin.
Challenge match. We go into 4 frames, and we'll be back with more. In the 5th frame, 4-pin, Steve Hoskins. Marks with a spare in the 5th as a 3-pin lead. In the 5th frame, John Handegard had a beautiful strike. So that means when he's next up, he will be working with a double, shooting in the 6th, but right now in the 6th with a spare, Steve Hoskins. Steve Hoskins, who in 1994 earned $106,959.
Handegard with a chance to take the lead, 6-frame, double working, had trouble on this lane, got a Brooklyn while we were away, so we'll see what happens. One shot that John does not have, and he'll be the first to admit, is that when the lanes get very dry, to throw it out and snap it back like we see Hoskins doing. and somewhat is the style that he learned back in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. You just didn't have to do that. And right now he's faced with a situation where it's going to be very tough for him to catch up to Hoskins, even though he only trails by 4.
Been a great bowling week here at Don Carter's Lanes with Joe Schumacher, president of the Lanes, working with his usual efficiency, and the former TV coordinator for ABC for 33 years, Frank Esposito, who now is the director of promotions for Don Carter Lanes.
They do a great job. The best. Now, Handegard, 7th frame, trails by 4. $25,000 match.
Go right. Wonder if I'm throwing it that poorly.
A confused John Handegard. He's doubting his game, and that is when you're really in trouble. He says, I can't get it to go to the right, and is it me or is it the lane? Trailing by only 5, though, he still has a chance.
Confusing, isn't it?
To them, it is very confusing. Here we go with Hoskins going with a little extra ball speed to cut the hook down. The ball sails by. He leaves the 2-8 double wood spare. He's a solid spare shooter with this big power. He cuts it down a little bit.
Colossal chop.
Well, the match is up for grabs right
Yes.
now. 3 frames. What do you do when you're both lost? Wife looks to the side. She's figuring, hey, 25 grand. That's a lot of bucks, honey. You better figure out this pair of lanes. You just put everything you have on every ball when you're lost. You just can't aim. You got to make sure if you hit around the pocket, you get a strike. Just like that.
This is the 5th year for this winning never gets old champion event. And Leto Monticelli defeated Gene Stuss in the first year. Stuss the next year defeated Steve Jarrows. Gary Dickinson defeated Norm Duke. And last year Dave DeEntremont defeated Gene Stuss. So now John Handegard is carrying the flag for the older boys, the seniors, here in this winner-take-all $25,000 game.
People are going to think you don't move. What is it you're doing here?
Nancy Ward, John's fiancée.
Well, in the last 5 frames,
I'm moving.
He says, I know I'm moving. The last 5 frames, the only thing that's been consistent for John is he crossed over to the left side.
Oh.
Crossed over in the 4th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. Let's throw the rocket to the pocket, John. You got the strength. Stay in this match, pal. You lead by 6, 9th frame, 25,000 at stake.
Amazing.
Good cheer, good spirit.
Hoskins needs this strike to retake the lead. 9th frame. Solid 10. That strike there, if it carries, would give him the lead by 4 pins going in the 10th frame. We have a match for the 25 grand. It's going to be Hoskins trailing by at least 6 going into the final frame.
Hoskins won the Classic title for $50,000, defeating Brian Voss, who picked up 26 grand. And now here in the Winning Never Gets Old Challenge, John Handegard, who won $7,500 for defeating Avery LeBlanc in their seniors match to determine Hoskins' opponent.
These are $25,000 balls coming up, trailing by 6.
Remember, Handegard is striking the ninth.
Steve Hoskins cannot shut out that man, John Handegard, who's trying to figure out, what am I going to do to get a mark or a strike to win this match? Hoskins can take the lead with the second strike here in the 10th. My, oh my. He put so much on that ball, Chris, that he blew the 5-pin straight over the top of the 7. This spare is somewhat inconsequential. He'll finish with 175. Handegard is just going to need a mark and 5 pins. There are no protective shots in the sport of bowling, especially when you're confused. Handegard confused. He knows how to win. What you do is think about your form, make sure you be very aggressive on the downswing, and you need a mark for 25 grand. Here we go.
Sliding by.
I got deep enough.
Well, that's as good as 9 pins if he makes the spare, because if he makes the spare, he only needs 5 to win. If he misses, Steve Hoskins wins the $25,000 Winning Never Gets Old Challenge.
57-year-old John Handegard, 27-year-old Steve Hoskins. Bowling is for all ages.
Sometimes that's harder than a strike, Chris, when you need it. You're confused, you have a difficult spare, the 1, 2, 4, 8. Handegard looks to the sideboard. All he needs is 5 pins to lock up all the money. You know, there's an old saying, Chris, it's not what you score, but who you beat. And Handegard can go to the bank with 25 grand in that statement.
And plus the $7,500 that he won for defeating Avery LeBlanc. 180 to 175. We'll say hello to the winners after this. There they are. The challenge winner. There he is, 57-year-old John Handegard, the classic winner, 27-year-old Steve Hoskins. 50,000, John was 25 and 7,500, 32.5. And they are friends. Don Carter, you all know him. We all know Steve Parker, Vice President of Marketing, Choice Hotels. Gentlemen, we don't have much time.
Steve, congratulations on winning the Comfort Inns and Suites Classic this year and taking a $50,000 first prize.
Steve, we're very proud on behalf of all the Don Carter lanes to have you as our champion. Thank you. Great job.
Do you have any money for John?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. John, congratulations on winning the Winning Never Gets Old Challenge and a check for $25,000.
You both had great days.
Thank you very much. I'd like to thank Comfort Inn and my ball sponsor, Track, and Don Carter All-Star Lanes. It's just wonderful here.
You have time for 5 words.
Thank you very much, sir.
Nice going. For Bo Burton, I'm Chris Schenkel. We'll see you in Erie next week, Arena Bowling. So join us then.